Warning, the following podcast contains adult content, adult language, and adult situations. I talk openly about sex and explicit topics. If you are under the age of 18 or are uncomfortable listening to sexually explicit narratives, please listen no further. I am not a professional therapist, counselor, or doctor. I'm just an average guy in the swinger lifestyle who likes to share his experiences. This podcast is for informational and entertainment purposes only. Please seek a professional if you are in need of advice, guidance, or care as it relates to sexual health or alternative lifestyles. Hi, everyone, and welcome to Evan Swings, a podcast about the swinger lifestyle from the perspective of a guy in the lifestyle. I am Evan, and I swing. I'm your host, and I thank you for joining me today. If you're joining me for the first time, I'm half of a lifestyle couple, the other half being my amazing wife, Eva. Psst, our real names are not Evan and Eva. We just use fake names for discretion. And we have been in the lifestyle for 3 years now, and it has been an awesome adventure for us. It has honestly brought us closer together as a couple. Like we're more in love now than ever before. All while having sex with other people. I mean, it sounds strange, counterintuitive even, but it is the truth. Being in the lifestyle has just made our marriage stronger. So if this is your first time here, I do suggest that you start with some of the first episodes of this podcast because it kind of talks about our start to the lifestyle and gives some background, but not necessary. No context is needed to hopefully enjoy this episode. And to my loyal listeners, welcome back. Always glad to have you. It is such a nice feeling to see my listener numbers continue to grow. Slowly. Very slowly. But it's nice to see. Hopefully I'm reaching more people now and doing what I set out to do. Educate and entertain. So allow me to entertain you now, hopefully entertain you now, with some lifestyle stories. I've already done this once before in a previous episode, but there have been a lot more of these interesting and infuriating interactions recently. So I wanted to share some of those with you. I thought they were fairly entertaining. I'm going to start off with the story of Nina. I suppose I could start with a tiny bit of a backstory first. Okay, so I was flying high for a while recently, a few months ago, back in the spring of 2024. It was Evan's world, let me just tell you. I fulfilled my two biggest fantasies. I met Annie, talked about her in a recent episode, who's been far and away my favorite lady that I've ever met in the lifestyle. She's just amazing. We had a threesome. I met her at a hotel for a separate play date, and I met her at Eva's office a couple of times for some separate play. So I was living life to the fullest and just loving every second of it. But unfortunately, Annie has had to take a step back from the lifestyle, and I still hope temporarily. So I was suddenly left without someone whom I could play, or with whom I could play separately. And Eva and I have discovered over our time in the lifestyle that separate play is pretty fun. It's exciting. It has that naughty element to it. So I found myself without that again, and Eva has had a couple of options, but I didn't have any, and I was honestly hoping that an opportunity would come up to meet a couple or just a woman who is allowed and interested in playing separately with me. I've gone on and on in the past about how difficult this could be. Okay, you will find on many different lifestyle forums and sites discussions about how finding a unicorn is one of the hardest things to do, and I can definitely attest to that from what I've experienced, what we've experienced. So it's very difficult, especially when you have my stats. Okay, I'm not tall. I don't have flowing locks of luscious hair. I don't have a 10-inch dick, and I'm not shredded. Okay, I don't and can't, due to complications from elbow surgeries, work out in a gym and get all jacked. I just can't do that. And that is unfortunately what I've found to be what a lot of women are looking for when it comes to this sort of thing. You know, when they're looking for, I think it's often referred to as being a bull. And I'm not what most women are looking for when they're hoping to find a bull. Okay, I'm short. I'm not ripped. I don't have a 10-inch dick. So, yeah. So, I know my chances are slim. Okay, they're not zero, but it is more difficult for someone like me to find someone. But hope arose recently. We were contacted by Nina on SLS. She was a single woman who lived in the Dayton area. And then if you're new to this podcast, that's my area. We are in the Dayton, Ohio area. According to her profile, she was divorced about 8 months prior, I think, and was finally looking to get back on the saddle. Not looking for a relationship, but hoping to explore her sexuality and her bisexual side with the right woman and the right couple. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you, there are a lot of fake profiles out there. A lot. I'll tell you about one in particular later. Well, Eva and I have been burned before. Okay, so now we are very skeptical of single women who contact us. To this date, it has never worked out. Okay, we've been contacted several times. It has never worked out. And this turned out to be one of those incidents. At least so far. Okay, I guess there's still a chance, but yeah, I'm getting sidetracked. I'll get to that. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So we were contacted by Nina and started a conversation. It was very nice, very pleasant. And I was up front right away. You know, I asked her what she was looking for, because while Eva wouldn't mind doing another threesome, you know, we would mostly be interested in her as a playmate for me, for separate play. And she seemed okay with this. You know, we kept chatting and eventually we moved our conversation over to kick. The whole time I'm thinking, all right, here we go again. This is too good to be true. I was ready for the bottom to fall out at any minute, so I did try to keep my hopes in check. Eva told me that she would want to meet Nina in person, like with me, before allowing me to go off on a play date with her. Okay, she just wanted to know who I'd be playing with. She didn't want me off with some stranger she'd never met. And Nina was fine with this too. So I put the ball in her court, and she seemed kind of hesitant. I was like, whenever you're ready. But definitely sensed hesitation, and if it was nerves, I understand. I totally understood. She told me that she hadn't been with anyone, man or woman, since her divorce in the fall. So I told her that we were not going to pressure her. We would just keep chatting, and when she was ready, she could let us know she wanted to meet. And we did keep chatting. She sent some pics, and I was convinced that she was a real person. If not, whoever this was did a fantastic job of establishing a very intelligent, legit-looking profile and carried on a fantastic fake conversation. We're not talking like a one-line profile description like you see sometimes, message me, I'm horny, and that's it. Now, this was well thought out, multiple paragraphs, introducing herself, explaining what she was interested in. Everything sounded totally legit. The conversation got a little spicy. Not crazy, but there was some spice to it. She sent a couple of topless photos and a bottomless photo. Her face was not included in those. I sent her a couple of dick pics because she asked. I never, ever send unsolicited dick pics. Only do it when I'm asked, okay? I mean, if you want them, you got to flat out ask me for them. But anyway, she suddenly says that she would rather meet sooner than later. Like she was really excited and she was ready to set up a date. So I asked her about the upcoming weekend. She said she was free on Sunday and hoped we could meet for lunch. Eva and I said that was fine, and we suggested a time. We said 1:30, and Nina was good with that. And she asked about a location, like where we wanted to go. Well, Eva has some pretty severe food sensitivities, and there are plenty of restaurants where like she can't even find something on the menu to safely eat. So I told Nina, we'll try to find a place, ourselves, halfway between us or closer to her. We didn't mind driving towards her. We just needed some time to look at the restaurants in the area and examine their menus, and then we'd get back to her the next day. So this was in the evening, and when I wrote that, and she said that was fine. So that was actually on a Thursday, okay? Thursday before our supposed lunch date weekend. So that was Thursday, and then on Friday afternoon, after Eva got back from work, we sat down real quick, we Google mapped the locations, found some restaurants in Nina's direction, checked out their menus, and decided on a place to suggest. So on Friday afternoon, so not even 24 hours since my last discussion, my last text message interaction with Nina, I sent her a suggestion for a restaurant and attempted to confirm the time. I said 1:30 at, and then I said the name of the restaurant. And we never heard back. So if you're a Kik user, you'll know what I mean when I say this, but when a message is delivered to the person, there's a tiny D next to the message. And when the recipient reads the message, the D changes to an R. Well, Sunday rolled around, the date that we're supposed to be going to lunch, and the clock ticked past our clicked past the 1:30 proposed meeting time, and that D never changed to an R. Now I have to admit, I can snoop, All right, I have some snooping skills, ladies and gentlemen. And I went back onto SLS where we first started chatting with Nina, and I noticed that she had been on the site that day. Because SLS tells you when the person was last logged into the site. So she had been on that day. So she was checking her lifestyle messages on another site or browsing profiles or whatever, but didn't open our message on Kik. Now, I've been on a little bit of a quest lately. I've been calling people out on their bullshit. In this situation, Eva would probably tell me to just let it go and not message her again. But I wanted to give a little subtle jab. So I found a GIF of Kent Brockman from The Simpsons. If you happen to ever watch that show, he's like the news anchor guy, the reporter guy. And the GIF says, "Once again, I've been had." So I sent that little GIF. Late Sunday night, okay, so the same day, late Sunday night, I get the following message from Nina on Kik. I'm going to read it to you. "Ugh, I never even made it back to Kik to see the time and location. I don't have notifications on for this app. Totally my mistake and missed opportunity." So the question is, did I get played? If so, it was masterful. I mean, I've gotten pretty darn good at finding the snakes in the grass, but if I got played, this was top notch. I find it hard to believe that she was on SLS between Friday and Sunday, but never thought to check Kik, was supposedly so excited to meet us, was expecting a response from us, and didn't think to check Kik. Now, I have to admit something to you listeners. As I record this happened a few days ago. Okay, I'm recording this right now on a Wednesday, and this happened Sunday a few days ago. So, again, I want to start calling people out on their bullshit. I mean, this was a complete waste of time and emotion, all right? I mean, I'll admit, I was excited. I was excited to meet this woman. I thought we were a good match based on what she was telling me. And Eve and I, we put all this time into researching restaurant menus. Not a whole lot of time, but still, it's time. Not to mention all the texts we sent back and forth. So I ended up responding, and I'm going to read you my response. And I still don't know if it was the correct thing to do, but this is what I did because, again, I'm just tired of it. I want to call people out. So I'm going to read you this. Reading this from my phone right here. "I don't have Kik notifications on either, but when I am excited enough about talking to someone, or I have tentative plans to meet someone for lunch in the next few days, I check my messages regularly because I am excited and I want to check my messages regularly. I'm excited to get a response. So, we were surprised and confused by your explanation. We theorize that one of two things is going on here. One, you're not as excited or as comfortable meeting us as we thought. But that's okay. We understand. We can keep chatting, and you can just let us know when you are excited and comfortable enough to meet. It can be a big step, and we understand the jitters that go along with it. Or number two, you're playing a game with us, and we really hope this is not what is happening. It has happened to us several times before. I get excited about meeting a single woman only to find out later that she is not who she says she is. We're pretty sure one time, looking back now, we were actually talking to a guy. We have been played before and just really hope you are genuine and not playing us for fools now. We hate having our time wasted and emotions toyed with." And that's what I sent. And she read it. That little R has popped up and she has not responded. So I'm not sure what's going to come out of that. Probably nothing. I don't expect to hear something back from her. If I do, I'll update you in a future episode. All right, but speaking of calling people out on their bullshit, let's get to my next story. And these are all recent, by the way. All recent occurrences. A couple liked our profile on SDC. We checked out their profile. Not only were they attractive and seeking the same things that we were seeking, they're from the Dayton area. So that's a rare find. And they used the speed date section of SDC to announce that they were free this coming weekend and were looking for a dinner date on Saturday. Just a vanilla dinner date, like a meet and greet. So we liked their profile back, and I sent them a hello message. And I also said that, hey, we're free on Sunday too, if you're still looking for a dinner date. Well, they got back to me. They had already made plans, but they were interested in getting to know us. So we chatted a little bit, and they told us that they would for sure love to meet us. And we said the same. So we kept chatting a little more, and they said that they're usually free on the weekends, and to just let them know a date that we're free and they'd make it work. So Eva and I, we had no plans the following weekend, so we told them that we were free Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We asked them to just pick a day and we'd make it happen. So they asked us where we'd like to meet up. So again, Eva and I, like I said, we have to do restaurant research, so we know kind of in general where some places are that we could go that are conducive, I guess the word is, for Eva's food sensitivities. And we chose a place in the Dayton area, and they said that would work great for us with an exclamation point. So I just said, that sounds great. Just tell us which date works best for you. Because again, we were free Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Their response was, we will let you know soon. The weekend passed. They never let us know. Yet on that Sunday of the weekend we were supposed to meet, they checked out our profile again on SDC. Because on the SDC app, you can see which profiles have visited your profile. So we were like, what the hell? So I decided I'm going to call them out. Because like I said, I'm tired of dealing with these sort of people. So I'm calling people out on their bullshit. So I sent them a message that said, narrator, and in parentheses I put Morgan Freeman's voice, they never did let Evan and Eva know. I sent that, and then the nice guy inside me overtook the dick side of me, and I added another message. I mean, I guess there could have been some kind of emergency, right? I mean, then I would have felt horrible. If we had an emergency, lifestyle messaging would be way down on the ladder of importance. So I just said, hope everything is okay with you guys. We hope you'll circle back to us, or circle back again to us at some point. Lo and behold, they responded to that message. They apologized and said they got super busy with their kids' sports commitments. And they added that they would still love to meet when our schedules lined up. And they also added that they loved my Morgan Freeman narrator joke with a couple of laughing emojis. My thoughts are, though, okay, if you make tentative plans with a couple and there is no emergency but plans change, you need to let that couple know. We would have totally understood that we had to reschedule. But here's my other question. Kids' sports programs do not last until all hours of the evening. They could have easily taken 30 seconds and sent us a quick message, Sorry guys, we've had some things come up. Can we reschedule? Done. No hard feelings. But this just came across as a lame excuse, all right? And then what really makes it more interesting is that it's like they felt bad. It's like they or it's like they knew they got called out. Because then they started chatting with us more than before. Like asking all kinds of questions and giving Eva and I all kinds of compliments. So I'm not sure where this one is going to go either. I mean, Dayton area couple, rare find. We think we're going to give them another chance. But with us, it's 2 strikes and you're out. Don't waste our time. So again, if anything comes up with that couple, I will hopefully be able to update you guys in a future episode. And my last story of the day. I was chatting with a very attractive couple who lived about an hour north of us. We seem to have a lot in common, except for the fact that they own a boat and we don't. So as we chatted more and more, we decided that we wanted to meet. They invited us to go to dinner one Saturday and then to hang out on their boat afterwards. Eva and I agreed to this and we set a date. It was a couple of weeks away, and in the meantime we chatted more and got to know them a bit more, and they seemed great. Until things changed very quickly and very badly. About 5 days or so before we were supposed to meet, they told us that they had been chatting with another couple from our town, and they would be coming up too that same day. Like they were invited up to their boat as well. It was the batshit crazy couple that I've mentioned in several episodes. Eva and I were like, wait, what the hell? They didn't even ask if it would be okay to invite another couple. They just said that Batman and Batgirl were going to be there. They just assumed we'd be okay with it. Well, we told them that we had a history with this particular couple and we would be too uncomfortable sharing an evening with them. Way too uncomfortable. The couple responded and said that the Bat couple, they were coming up earlier in the day and there's a good chance that they will leave before we even get there. So we shouldn't be worried. And at that point I was thinking, are you serious? You throw this on us a few days before our date and you don't even ask if we're okay with it? You just assume? You just say, these people are joining us? No, we're not okay with that. But I was polite until the dude suddenly became a complete dick. I told him, look, I'm sorry, but Eva and I are not comfortable with this. Perhaps we can reschedule for another date. He pressed and accused me of being immature. We're all adults. We should be able to handle it. He said something like that. And then the other shoe dropped. I reiterated that we were not comfortable. Then I added, because I didn't have to add this, but I tend to open up to people maybe more than I should. But I added that I suffer from anxiety and depression and that I would just not be able to handle a situation like that. Having to see a couple that we already have some bad blood with. He literally called me a coward. He used that word. And then he said that anyone who uses mental health as an excuse for anything is lying. His words were, it's called being an adult. Just grow some balls. I was stunned. I mean, things went to crap so fast. So fast. I guess I could have walked away at that point, but I felt like I needed to respond. I shouldn't have, but I did. I told him that we were obviously not a match because I could not respect someone that doesn't respect the fact that I, or anyone else for that matter, has mental health issues. So I sent it. And then I decided, you know what? I'm just going to block them. But before I could even do that, they blocked me. So that was that. It was just amazing how fast things went south and how he hid his true character up until that point. It was just crazy stuff. And I still wonder to this day how their date with the batshit crazy couple went. So I want to end my show today with kind of like a moral, a moral of the story. So this goes with the first two stories that I shared today. Folks, if you don't want to meet with a couple, tell them. And if you do want to meet with them, don't waste their time. Respect their time. Things can come up to prompt canceling dates. It happens, all right? It's happened to us many times. But understand that others' time is important too. A simple, quick message letting them know you're unable to meet as planned is all it takes. It's just the courteous thing to do. Also, beware of those fake profiles. They exist. I have another tale for another episode about a real piece of work. So just be aware. We'll find out if Nina was fake sooner or later, I think. And like I said, I'll give you an update when that happens. So until next time, I bid you farewell. Thank you so much for spending time with me on this episode. I hope you enjoyed it, maybe learned something from it, maybe related to it. We've all had our strange or interesting and infuriating interactions, all right? And I was actually even thinking about having a call-in episode where people could call in and tell their own stories about their interesting and infuriating experiences. I think that would be a lot of fun. We've heard some doozies from some other couples that we know, and I'm absolutely sure that there are others 10 times worse than what we have heard and what you've just heard in this episode. Anyway, as always, you can connect with me on Instagram or Kik. My handle is Evan Dienson, EvanDeanson. Or you can email me at evandeenson@gmail.com. I hope to hear from you. I'll sign off for now. Thanks for listening. Be safe, be naughty, everyone, and we'll see you next time on Evan Swings.